What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about potentially the greatest thing that Herman Holst has ever said. Now, it wasn't actually all fantastic, but there was an interview, I think, with Famitsu that went through a lot of different stuff. And live service games was a huge part of the discussion and kind of doubling down on them. So it wasn't all roses and sunshine and stuff, at least for somebody like me. But we did get this incredibly great quote that I think is going to make people pretty darn happy. It makes me definitely excited about the potential. The numerous IPs that we hold are an important asset for PlayStation, and as part of our efforts to strengthen our portfolio, not only developing new franchises, we are also continually looking at opportunities to leverage our legacy IP. Now, I'm not a gigantic fan that he says leverage instead of just like kind of outright saying, but I think the thing is, that is what he's saying. I do think the idea here is bringing back old IP, okay? The way he says it makes it sound like, well, because actually, if you think about it, Gravity Rush, right, getting a movie. Well, there should be a third Gravity Rush game. Who's with me? Raise your hand. There should be, obviously, we talk about Sly Cooper as kind of a side thing, but just think about like the movies and shows that Sony is doing. Some of them, yeah, they're ongoing, right? When you do a God of War thing, or if Horizon ends up happening, right? Those are ongoing stuff. But Days Gone is getting a series or a movie or whatever, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because Days Gone, is not getting a second game for, you imagine, quite a while. So some of them are a little baffling, and that's kind of why I'm not 1,000% excited. I'm like 999% excited because, there is a possibility that that's kind of what he's talking about where, yeah, we can make a Ratchet and Clank movie. Why not? Well, you already did that. It's better to make games, though, okay? In my opinion, better to make games. But, okay, I mean, I honestly believe, though, he is referencing specifically bringing back those old IP, and we just talked about this. I just talked about this personally with Capcom. Okay, a couple days ago, maybe a week ago on the channel, I did a video, and Capcom talked about basically a strategy, right, that they have, and I said I think other companies should literally steal it. Don't be shy. Don't be whatever. Don't be stupid. Literally take the strategy. Their strategy is making new games, new IP, new sequels, say, to existing things, and also just bringing back the old stuff, right? You had Dead Rising. They did that with a deluxe remaster. You have things like Dino Crisis, which I think they are going to eventually do. Mega Man should come back, all this jazz. Capcom is, I think, like the golden child right now and should be the model of how to do this stuff. Capcom has achieved success year over year over year for the last like 7, 8, 9 years, making more money every year than they did in the past, giving people bonuses because they're making so much money, whereas a lot of studios are laying people off, okay? But I honestly think that strategy is smart, and it's not even, and I said this in that video, I guess it is smart, but it's not like you have to be a freaking genius to think of it. Honestly, it's kind of simple. When you have a back catalog of so much, how hard is it to just leverage, as he says, as Herman says, right? Leverage those old franchises along with making new ones. You need your Spider-Mans. You need your God of Wars. You need your games that are going to sell 5, 10, 15 million units, okay? Those games are important. You need your live service games, Helldivers, and hopefully you get one or two others that are massively successful, right? You need all those. You also need to try games, right? You need to make brand new games in order for them to become something. You don't get The Last of Us you don't get The Last of Us as a franchise that Naughty Dog has made like 10 versions of the same 2 games unless you make the first game, okay? And I know I'm digging a little bit, but ultimately it does come a place of like genuine care. You do need to try new things. You do need to continue franchises, but you also have so many legacy things. You have the Slides, you have the Ratchets, you have the Jak and Daxters, you have, when I go through my PlayStation 3 catalog of Resistance, Killzone, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, I mentioned Gravity Rush, you got games like Puppeteer, and all of it. You have so much, okay? You have so many games, and you do absolutely nothing with these things. So, I mean, look, that's a recap of the last couple years. That's a recap of venting my frustration, on it. Hearing him say it does make me feel good, right? And I don't know. Is it all Astrobot? Is it Capcom achieving success recently? I know Capcom like announced their strategy like a week ago, but they've been doing it for a couple years. It's not hard to look around and say, hey, we can do new stuff. We can do existing stuff like new games in the franchise. We can also just bring stuff back. I mean, actually, those last two are kind of the same depending on how you do it. If you bring back an old IP and you do a new game, you are doing, that second one. So there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of things PlayStation has just flat out not done for the majority of this entire generation, and even like the back half of the PS4 gen, it's been like that. So to hear him say it, it's all words until it happens. Okay, I will say that, right? This is a guy who supposedly pioneered freaking Concord, right, or had its back in like the face of war. Bad idea, bad choices. So he's not perfect. He's made mistakes. He's made potentially gigantic mistakes. Okay, but I do like to hear that, and I do think if that is, and I say this all the time, it doesn't need to be your only focus. In fact, that's kind of what I keep saying over and over, right? It just needs to be part of it. You can do live service. You can do Uncharted 7. You can do your 15 Horizon games. Like, it's a joke, but it's also not a joke. Like, you can do it if you want to do it. I don't really care. But have a little diversity, okay? Have some games that are a little bit older. Bring them back, right? Space out. Branch out a little bit. That's what Astrobot hopefully proved to them. So, these are all words, and these are all things that we've talked about for years. And then hopefully now he's saying it. Hopefully it ends up actually happening. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.